Last month, I did a video about University of Victoria, British Columbia computer science professor Jianping Pan, a man who specializes in computer networking and has a PhD in computer science, and how, after being forced to teach a numerical analysis class, he informed his students on day one that it would be in their best interest to take the class with another professor next semester, so 4 months later, if at all possible. Professor Pan saw my video and provided a few clarifications and updates. And I thought it would be interesting to do a follow-up, since I believe this type of story affects a large portion of my audience, and I know it happens in other schools. Without revealing too much, someone I know very well went through the same thing, was asked to teach courses that they weren't qualified to teach, and when they said they weren't the right person for the job, the school's reaction was, yeah, but the students don't know the difference. So they quit teaching, and the school got someone else to teach the course who, I'm told, was even less qualified. I can guarantee you that if you are or have been to a post-secondary school, a teacher who is not qualified to teach a program has done so, either willingly or unwillingly. I also had a few questions for the university, who seemed less than helpful. Surprise. We'll get to those. So, the story was that for the first class, after doing the regular day one routine, intro to the course, prerequisites, outline, and needed materials, he then mentioned that other professors would be better qualified to teach the class, but that he'd do his best since he was assigned. He explained to me that since fall of last year, he'd been trying to work out alternatives, and even had a substitute who agreed to take the course on. But this was rejected by the department head. The school basically ignored the problem because they didn't see it as a problem. Why would they? There's a warm body in the classroom, and the tuition checks have cleared. I had originally questioned why he showed up for the second class in the first place when the school claimed they had set up a replacement. Well, it was explained to me that this was because he was not actually told he was being replaced or that it was cancelled, and he was still listed officially in the system as the instructor. It wasn't until the Associate Dean of Research came in at the beginning of the class to cancel it that he learned a new instructor would take over beginning next week. Professor Pan says this: I told them that I welcomed the change of instructor, but was surprised by the cancellation, too. There are about 140 students from 16 different programs in year 2 to 4, mostly third year, in this course. Since I asked the students to install MATLAB, software used by engineers and scientists, the last class, I can give a public, non-course tutorial on how to install and use MATLAB, and they can go or stay as they wish. He also says the Associate Dean threatens students to leave in multiple rounds, eventually going to each individual student one by one. This is when they had campus security come, with local police on standby for some reason, and take him away. The university says he was not suspended as a result of the incident, according to CTV's article. Professor Pan explains that he was suspended without pay a short time after that, and he was immediately punished. I was banned from student/department meetings, seminars, and office that Friday, over the weekend, and the following Monday morning. In the first video, I said I didn't know what year this numerical analysis class is offered in. I've since been told by both Professor Pan and the university that this was a third-year course. Professor Pan says that very few comp sci courses use this third-year class as a prerequisite, and that the majority of the students are not even computer science students, which once again begs the question: why isn't a math professor teaching this math class? Well, the university is sticking to their previous statement, claiming that this is a foundational course. Why is a foundational course being taught in the third year of a 4-year program? Well, it's not a foundational course, according to Professor Pan. He says, none of my colleagues think of this third-year course as a foundational course, and we don't even know who defines foundational. I received the following statement from the university. The University of Victoria is committed to teaching, learning, and the highest standards of academic excellence to ensure student success. So I asked them this follow-up. In your previous statement, you said that teachers are often asked to teach foundational courses that are not directly in their areas of research as a service to the department and to students. In this statement, you've said that the University of Victoria is committed to the highest standards of academic excellence to ensure student success. The foundational course in question was a third-year math course. Does the school feel this is truly a service to the students, and that having someone teach a program that is not directly in their area of research meets the highest standards of academic excellence? Their answer: I am not able to provide you with a more detailed explanation about the teaching of foundational courses as a service to the department or students further than what has already been stated. Faculty members are fully qualified to teach the courses they are assigned. Well, clearly, faculty members don't feel that way. This is a portion of an email sent to Professor Pan by one of his colleagues that he shared with me. Of course, all identifying info has been removed. I just wanted to share with you that I was assigned and forced to teach a course that was completely out of my field of study in blank. No matter how many times I told to the department chair that I was unqualified to teach the course, no matter how many senior colleagues spoke for me, I was still assigned to teach the course. The case was escalated to the dean, but the dean supported the chair's decision. I was forced to teach the course. Honestly, I have always felt very guilty for the students in my class, even though I only slept for about 3 hours a night and worked hard on every single weekend to prepare for the course. I sincerely believe what happened to me should not be happening in a university where students are supposed to receive the best education possible. I feel sorry that I was not brave enough to say no at that time, and I did not know that I could do that either. Well, he didn't know that he couldn't do it because clearly, you can't. Professor Pan was suspended without pay for a month, and even worse, he tells me that the grad students that he looks after were punished as well. Despite the university claiming, the administration at UVic is taking steps to ensure Pan's graduate students will not be affected by his suspension. Professor Pan says, "My grad students were already negatively affected." He explains that 4 students suffered as a result. The first was in the middle of their PhD candidacy exam process when Professor Pan was suspended immediately, so this was delayed. The second had finished their PhD thesis and was waiting on their degree completion letter so they could apply for a work permit and start a job they had lined up. But Professor Pan was not allowed to complete the finalization process and approval paperwork. The third was not allowed to take their scheduled PhD candidacy exam, which had been scheduled several months prior. And the fourth was not allowed to do his PhD thesis defense, also scheduled months ago. So, this story is an unfortunate reminder that life is not a movie. The good guy doesn't always get the bad guys. Or he does, but at a major personal cost, and sometimes at a cost to others who weren't even involved. And what will become of it? If this were a movie, the Hollywood ending would see students boycott until the school promises to ensure the correct teachers are teaching the correct classes. Professor Pan would have his job back with back pay, and whoever made the decision to suspend him, the person who decided to screw over a student trying to get their PhD, as well as the person who didn't put the most qualified person possible in that classroom in the first place, would be fired. But that's not the end of this movie. No, in this case, it'll be complacency as usual. And as they've shown, any teacher not willing to be complacent, not willing to toe the company line and just take the students' money, they'll be suspended or fired. And this isn't just a University of Victoria problem. The greatest lesson you'll learn at any school is that the only person who has your best interests in mind is you. And of course, a few teachers who will be punished if they ever speak up.